Okay, fam, welcome back. So today we're going to be going over the grayscale trusts. So with that being said, let's get it. Okay, so before I actually talk about the grayscale trusts, I just want to let you guys know we currently are in peak uncertainty. Okay, between now, well, basically like the last 3 weeks to up to the election, but especially now into the election, the markets are going to be kind of all over the place. Don't be surprised if some days are up, some days are down, some days are more volatile than others, all right? Because again, the elections is a big deal. But typically speaking, after the elections take place, usually the markets are going to move up from that point. That's usually what happens in a bull run. Again, we have been in a bull run in stocks for the last basically 2 years, and we are currently in a bull run for crypto. Again, we're kind of in a pullback in time, so to speak, with Bitcoin. So everything is lining up, right? And we just got to get past the elections. Most of earnings will be out by the time the elections take place, maybe a little bit after that. We'll get another Fed rate cut, get some more guidance from the Fed, all that stuff, and everything should line up really nicely to continue the pushes higher into the end of the year and next year. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this content. Okay, so the most important thing about this chart that I want to point out is that the MACD for LTCN is getting very, very close to turning green on the histogram. Okay, I mean, you can literally see here the EMAs are about ready to cross. It's getting extremely close. You can see this red bar here getting much, much smaller. I would wager that this is probably going to be the last week that we see this light red color. It should theoretically go green next week. We'll just have to see about that one. I am actually kind of expecting markets to go up next week because again, basically the markets know that once the elections is over, the uncertainty of the elections is no longer there. As you guys know, markets hate uncertainty. Okay. So when, in my opinion, Trump gets reelected, the markets will know for sure that it's done. Okay. The elections no longer are a concern. There's no more uncertainty. We know who the president is going to be. Okay, that's how the markets are going to see it. That's one thing that they don't need to worry about that has been headwinds that becomes tailwinds. So with that being said, I think likely we're going to see this green next week. We will see probably markets be also in green next week. And I want to show you guys this. You see this little bar right here? I suppose the histogram probably could get smaller in the coming weeks, although I think maybe 1 or 2 more weeks of this light red color on the histogram, but I'm not even sure it's going to take that long. Again, the elections is only basically in 2 weeks from now. I mean, it's not even 2 weeks. It's not that far away. All right, so pretty much the same thing as before. I mean, LTCN basically just going sideways here. So the buy zones I'm looking for is pretty much, since we did get above the green box here, I'm going to say pretty much between 13 to 15. If you're not so sure, the white line is macro support, so about $12, maybe 12 to 15, somewhere in there. And then you got this 25 to 27 up here, and then 54 at the swing highs above head. So you got about 112 to 335% gain there. Keep in mind, LTCN's all-time high is 510, so that's roughly about a 10x from that swing high. So when you think about it in that context, okay, LTCN only hit a high of $54, whereas the previous market top was 510. That means that even at that swing high, LTCN was still 90% off from the all-time highs. And the reason why I want to point this out to you guys is because we're seeing a very similar thing. And I know this video is not about altcoins, but I do want to show the similarities here. Okay. So a lot of people are saying like, oh yeah, this is it for the altcoins. Dogecoin's only going up to 20 cents. I'm not so sure about that. I doubt that because again, Bitcoin dominance has not dropped off a cliff. So even if I measure from peak to peak here, you can see Dogecoin technically only did about 30% of the previous all-time highs. We can go over something like Filecoin is a more extreme example. You guys can see this thing barely moved. I mean, you get this little tiny blip here compared to the previous all-time high. If I measure that, you guys can see it's roughly it only made about 7% of the all-time highs. Or it's still, even from that peak, it was still down about 93%. Take another example here of something that's probably, say, maybe more popular. Solana. Even Solana is not at all-time highs, okay? So that pretty much tells me that with these grayscale trusts, we have not seen the real move yet. Because again, even the altcoins, a lot of the altcoins for the underlying, or the underlines for the grayscale trusts, have not actually really started seriously moving yet. Once again, I think that the alts that we saw move a little bit back when Bitcoin was hitting all-time highs was just a tasting of what we're going to see in the coming months, okay? That's just my opinion, of course, but I'm pretty confident this is going to play out like this. So BCHG, we got another green candle. That's always very good. It's interesting that BCHG is actually front running LTCN, but I mean, they're both oscillators to Bitcoin. So in my opinion, they're both likely going to go up when Bitcoin starts smashing past all-time highs, which is going to be pretty soon. I think probably in the next few weeks. Okay, so support here. I'd be looking for basically anywhere from $6.60 to maybe $8. I mean, it is above the EMAs and that trend line. I pretty much told you guys back here somewhere around the support would be the best area to buy. Just to show you guys, if you had gotten in, you'd already be up about 60%, roughly there about 50 to 70%. But of course, I'm not here to rub anything in anybody's faces. I'm just telling you guys, when I give you these zones, if you choose not to get into them and they move, well, I don't know what to tell you, okay? So targets here anywhere between 1050 to 2015 and then 24 at the swing highs. So this move is about 300% gain. And again, I'm not trying to get anybody to FOMO in here. I'm just telling you guys that as somebody who does all of these different strategies that I'm telling you about, position trading, swing trading, dollar cost averaging, averaging down, day trading, futures, crypto stocks, options, the works, you name it, okay? I have experience in all of these. I'm just telling you guys as somebody that's done this before, many, many times, that likely the best time to get in a position is when it's kind of just sitting sideways, not doing much at a support like this one on HZEN. But you guys are free to do what you want to, okay? So HZEN, we got the green on the histogram, golden cross. That's very bullish looking, I will say. So 340 to about 420 going to be here at support. The targets are roughly about 690 to about $10.50. Again, the target for the wedge is the top of the wedge, which is, of course, in this case, the swing high. So 209% gain here. ETCG, same thing. We're starting to see the histogram slowly curl, or basically go green, and the EMAs curl up. That's a very bullish sign. So support, basically the buy area here, I would say, is somewhere between 730 to about $10, roughly. 13 and a quarter to about $20 is going to be that target. And then, of course, for ETCG, the all-time highs are like, I think, around $90. We'll go over that in a separate video. So 174% gain here. ETH, so this one's not, I would say, not as bullish as ETCG, but again, I mean, look, in terms of the ETH Bitcoin dominance, the Bitcoin dominance has to fall off a cliff for ETH to go up. That just simply has to happen. Otherwise, ETH's not going to go up. And ETH is, even though Ethereum is the second largest altcoin, it is still an altcoin. So as long as Bitcoin's maintaining dominance, Ethereum is going to bleed against that. And once again, once Bitcoin drops off, or once Bitcoin dominance drops off a cliff, money starts rolling out of Bitcoin into the rest of the native space. That's when Ethereum and the rest of the altcoins should go up. So as of right now, support down here at 18 to 1850. And then I'll just say anywhere between 2330 to this cup and handle target up here at 4760 is going to be kind of the target area. So as much as 160% gain. Again, there's a couple of things about this. So we have this potential W pattern here. There's a gap that needs to be filled right around 23 to about 2530. And then, of course, you have the cup and handle, which is a very bullish pattern that does usually play out bullishly. It's not always textbook perfect like gold. I can just show you guys the gold chart right now so you can see what a textbook cup and handle would play out like. I actually need to go to the monthly time frame for this. So this is what a cup and handle theoretically should play out like. Again, it doesn't have to go straight up immediately and hit the target. It can do anything in between there, but generally the measurement from the bottom of the cup to the neckline is how you would measure it, draw it out to the breakout point, and then at some point in time it should hit that target. So this is pretty much what a cup and handle would look like if it was going to play out exactly textbook like it should. Okay, but it doesn't always do that, but theoretically it should eventually hit the target that's measured for it. Another one, for example, would also be Bitcoin. Okay, so it's a little bit more obvious here on the monthly. Nice big cup and handle. And then, of course, the target would be way above that. Okay, so now going on to GBAT here. Got to get back onto the weekly. So GBAT, the EMAs are about ready to cross. Not quite, but getting pretty close. So support here, 430 to about $5. And then I would say the targets could be anywhere from about $8 all the way up to 32. If you're looking for the hodl position, you're like, screw that, dude. I don't want no 50 or 100% gains in crypto. What are you talking about? I want that 10x. Well, I guess y'all are just going to have to hold to the peaks. So it's pretty cheap now. I don't know what to tell you about that. So 690% gain here on GBAT. Phil G, this one's looking kind of ugly, but again, I'm not surprised. Altcoins, Ethereum will or could bleed against Bitcoin as long as Bitcoin's still in the spotlight. Again, Bitcoin's got to go to its new all-time high, whatever that is, 100, 120,000, 150,000, peak out, and then we should have our alt season at that point. So 35 to 43 here at support, and then the all-time high is going to be 400. So you're looking at roughly about a 10x from the current price. It's a pretty juicy gain. No guarantee it has to go to that, but based on the cycle timing, based on the cycles themselves, I would say the likelihood that we're going to see Bitcoin and altcoins at new all-time highs or way higher than they are right now, we'll just put it like that. Very, very high likelihood that's going to happen. So GLIV, nice little shakeout before the final shakeout, I should say, before eventually crypto starts popping off to the upside. That's kind of what I suspect is going on here. So 12 to 15 as support here, all-time high at 80 for GLIV. So it could be as much as a 10x, or not a 10x. I meant to say an 8x to the all-time highs, 580% gain. Okay, G-Link, so 38 to 46 at support and 70 to 220. Again, if you guys are like worried, like, oh well, I don't really want to buy when it's going up. I just want to hold. So 470% on this one. I just want to hold and I want to wait to get in at the ideal price. That's fine. Sometimes we do hold cash. We don't move any money at all, which again, there is inflation. So holding cash for too long a period, especially when inflation's higher up, is not such a great idea. It's always better to be invested. Again, just my opinion, but that's what position traders and whales do in the dark pools. Or even if they're not in the dark pools, they'll usually wait for it to get to like an ideal price point like this. They'll hold an exorbitant amount of cash online and they'll just, or on the sides, I should say, and they'll just drop like $100 million or, 50 million or whatever the amount is, kind of in an area like this little green box right here. Of course, these guys know TA like the back of their hand. They're masters at charting. They know all this stuff. They've probably been doing it a very long time. So they'll just drop a bunch of money in one position like that, and then you'll see it on the dark pool, and theoretically it'll either go up or down, but if it's in a major support like this, there's a high likelihood it's going to go to the upside. And these guys, by the way, these guys that trade hundreds of millions of dollars, they do not use stop losses, okay? The position trading is exactly what it sounds like. They just take a position, they don't use a stop loss, and then they just let it do what it does. It could be risky if you don't know what you're doing, but these guys, they've made billions of dollars, so clearly they do know what they're doing. So 300 to 350 on GSOL, 580 at the all-time highs. So 95% just to get back to all-time highs. GXLM, Once again, the kind of the buy area here, in my opinion, is between 15 to 24 thereabouts. Immediate targets roughly about 54 to about $70. So the measured move here could be as much as 370%. Meta, this one, once again, a lot of these are kind of sitting at their ideal support zones. Again, you can see the little green on the histogram there. I suspect we're going to see more of this from these trusts in the coming weeks, as well as the price moving up. That's what I'm theorizing is going to happen. I'm pretty confident it will. So 10.15 at support down here. Targets will range probably somewhere between 17 to about the all-time highs, so $70 at the all-time high. 555% gain. And Zcash, okay, just waiting for it to pop up. There we go. So roughly about $3.15 to $6 is kind of that general accumulation zone. And then targets would range roughly about $8 to about 10.25 at that swing high up there. So about 205% gain. And I'm pretty confident. Look, the markets are betting more bullish on crypto for Trump getting reelected than they are Kamala. With good reason. Trump has come out and said, "Hey, I'm your pro Bitcoin president." You know, he even has like an NFT or something like that. It's crazy that a president of the United States would be in crypto like this. But you know, he says that he's pro crypto and he wants to do like some kind of governmental spot reserve, Bitcoin reserve or something like that. So markets are betting big on Trump getting reelected for an even bigger crypto bull run. So if you guys are bullish on crypto, something to think about. Anyways, hope you all enjoyed this content. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.